Thank you for being here to support this concert. This concert is being recorded by CTN Studios. If you, there's a list at the bottom of the program, their website. If you're looking for chances to watch, they have a YouTube channel, and then they also have the broadcast schedule on their website for when they'll rebroadcast it onto Channel 16 cable, public access cable. So there's a couple ways to watch that. A couple other reminders, just in order to make this concert enjoyable for the performers and the audience around you, please don't take flash photographs while the musicians are playing. Please silence electronic items, and students should know this because we don't use cell phones during the day, right? No phones. You shouldn't need phones. You got paper in front of you. And again, CTN does such an amazing job. If you haven't seen some of their broadcasts, they do try to make sure they get a chance to see every student in the ensemble. They do a great job of that. So hopefully you'll get some good pictures and video to share with family if they're not able to be here tonight. And then finally, stay seated. If you need to exit, please do so between selections. We have some ushers at the back, and they may ask you to wait. If you do need to leave to use the restroom or something, they may ask you to wait until there's an appropriate break in the concert to go back to your seats. You can always stand at the back and watch with them. So thank you very much for being here. First group up is our 9th grade playing Moonlight Tango. So we'll tune first, and then we'll get started here. So as you probably can see from the program, we have 4 orchestras in the concert. 3 of them are classes. So we have, this is our 4th hour class. It's our 9th grade orchestra called Level 1 Orchestra, mostly 9th grade. It's also one that if somebody was a beginner or fairly new to the instrument could join Level 1. We had a few students last year that were that way, that were they hadn't been in orchestra the whole time, and so they were in the Level 1. Notice we just switched people. A bunch of them moved around. We try to give everybody an opportunity to play first violin. First violins are always sitting closest to the audience, and then the second violins sit in the middle, closer to the violas, because they share a lot of the same parts with the violas. So that's why we're moving, so that the second violins can be in those particular seats. So, next piece is by Suni Newbold. So. Probably can tell from the title of the next piece, it's sort of a fun one. It's sort of based on like B movies, like the horror flicks, you know, and the sound effects that they would have in those movies, like Psycho and the Attack of the Killer Wasps, and you know some of those funny movies from the 1950s and 60s. So I want to demonstrate a couple of techniques we're doing. So the one of them that we're doing is they're sliding up and down the strings. So let's demonstrate the sliding up and down the strings. And they even do the sliding up and down the strings, and they're like doing what's called the tremolo, which is a really fast bow while they're sliding. So they're sort of doing like a patting your head, rubbing your tummy type of thing. Here we go. You can see that one being like a bunch of insects or something. Okay, then the next one they do is the crunching sound. This is like the crunching sound of the rosin-eating zombies chomping on rosin. So let's do that sound. And they do create that sound by playing on the opposite side of the bridge where they're supposed to. That's sort of the idea behind that sound. There's a few other sound effects, but I'm not going to give them all away, so you can enjoy them during the performance. I do have to do one one more. It's called the Bartok Pits, which you probably wouldn't know just from listening to it. And it was famous by a composer that sort of created this sound. And the bass does this in one place in the piece. So, where he literally pulls the string like he's going to pull it off the bass and snaps it against the fingerboard. Okay, good. So next up is our symphonic. So go ahead and we talk about, remember, this way, and then come on this way. Good, all right. So a couple of things I'm going to preview in the next piece with you while they're getting to stage here, and I try to stay out of the way. Okay. The end of the third power piece that you see in there, it's called mixed. So, it's major, so it's a minor key, minor, mixed meter. So it switches time signatures a lot, like a lot. It goes from 3/4 time, which means it's 1, 2, 3, and 2/4, 1, 2, And then 1, 2, 3, where I go into 1, it's really fast and triplet eighth notes. Oh, somebody's flip phone. Okay. Yeah. If I knew how to operate this one. There we go. Okay. No. All right, somebody will be looking for it. Okay, and so that's the first piece that they're doing, and then it's mixed. It's just all mixed up. It also goes into different minor keys, so it's a fairly requires a lot of flexibility in between the parts as you listen through that one. And then the second piece there'll be a quick switch in parts for that one again, but it's by somebody who grew up lived in Minnesota, Carrie O'Hara Labrie. Is a composer now teaching in Virginia, in the state of Virginia, but grew up and went to St. Olaf College. And then she went to graduate school out east and then got a job out east and moved out there after she'd worked in Minnesota for a while. So somebody I've gotten a chance to meet at workshops and see some of her work and see her. She's actually been here for some of our teacher workshops here. She came in and did a workshop for the teachers here. So we have a close connection with her because a couple of the teachers here know her pretty well because they went to St. Olaf too. They went to school with her. So I didn't go to school with her, but Miss Griffin over at Andover and a couple other teachers I know knew her from college. So it's sort of cool. And then the last piece, Fire on the Forge, is just a rockin' piece. I don't know how else to describe it. So it'll be a fun piece to plan. I think they're all in place. I'm going to let them tune and get started. have to keep a close eye on the score so I don't lead him astray, all those tempo meter changes. The next piece, there's one sound effect I want to point out in this piece. All the pieces have some sort of sound effect at this concert today. Each group, I should say, not every piece. Each group has a sound effect. In this group, this is our level 2. Some 9th graders are in this group this year. We also have some seniors, so it's a little bit of everything. This is our level 2 non-audition ensemble. The 9th graders could audition to be in a part of this, but the rest of them, if they're in the orchestra program in high school, they go into level 2, their second year in orchestra at the high school. So the sound effect we're going to show in this piece is tapping the stick of the bow. Usually we play with the hair, but using the stick of the bow. It's probably most famous used in Mars from the Planets by Holst, if you know that piece, but we're going to demonstrate a little bit of that in this piece. Okay. And it's probably hard to hear, right? So when we do it in the piece, you'll hear it. It'll have some plucking with it to help make the notes a little more obvious. It's supposed to sound like skeleton bones sort of clinking together is the idea behind that. It's more of a percussive than a pitched sound. Rock and peace, yeah, all right. So next up, next up we have our cardinal strings. This is our chamber orchestra. So remember, you're gonna go out that way. Yeah, okay. Good, and that's one is an audition-only group. They are committed because we get here at 6:40. Most of them get here at 6:40. Some are a little late, 6:45, but most of them are here on time for rehearsal. And no, it's really a fun group to work with. They bring a lot of energy to those early morning rehearsals and work really hard. A lot of practice outside of time, too, because we only meet 2 days a week. I think we've only had 7 rehearsals between the time we started and tonight's concert. So quite a bit of work goes on outside of those rehearsals to get to the point where they're going to hear them today. So, this group is open to anybody from any of the 3 orchestras. So right now there's some level 2 and level 3 students in here. We could have a level 1 last year we had a student who was from level 1 in this group. So it's an audition group. They just need to be able to play the music and do the audition and have a successful audition. We're looking for an opportunity for all different levels and not different levels. We want the best players, but we want all different ages, I should say. That's the best way to put it. They need to be a strong player and somebody who works outside of, willing to practice hard and work hard, so. Your program, you'll also see, I'm going to pause a little bit where the cellos and basses get their stuff out, about the next few concerts coming up. So coming up right after this, Clue has been in practices. That's their fall play. I encourage you to come see that. We've got an amazing theater department. We got a theater director this year, but looking forward to some great students, some really hardworking students as well. They were practicing the orchestra room after school, got to see a little bit of their scenes doing, and they're almost off book. They're getting pretty close to putting the show together on stage. They're going to start building the set after our show tonight. And then after that, you've got our December concert for the level 1 and 2, which is December 8th. And then you've got the Traditions concert, which even if you don't have students in that concert, I encourage you to come see that performance. We performed at the Music Teachers Convention at the State Convention Center. We were invited 2 years ago to do that. Very few orchestras, I think 3 orchestras in the whole state were invited that year to come. And that was with the band, orchestra, and choir combined. So you should come see that event. It's one of the top events. A lot of our alumni come back that have been a part of that concert. It's a really pivotal and important one of our year, and one of the best, I think one of the best performances we do all year. So definitely should come back for that one as well. Thank you. quickly set up for the next piece. The next one, the Art of the Fugue, is, and it mentioned a little bit in the program notes, it's one of the pivotal pieces that Bach wrote. Many, many composers, Mozart, Beethoven, studied these pieces for how to write composition. And this is the first of a set of, I think, almost 40 songs in that set. And so it was written near the end of his life, but wasn't published until after he died. This is one of the last pieces that Bach wrote. So we have the rest of our, so the last group again is our level 3 orchestra, which is concert orchestra. It's also an honors class, if that makes sense. So if you look at GPAs, you have a weighted GPA for taking that class. You get an A in there, it helps boost your GPA just like any other honors English, math classes. Part of it is we do more concerts, we do more public performances, we also do harder music. And again, same thing, there's more expectation, they'll be practicing outside of class and working hard in that particular class. It's not automatically placed in this class, it's an audition-only group as well at the high school. The most students will get to that level and play in that group their senior year. But it is a challenge. It's meant to be a challenge for the students to push them to the next level. It's meant to be pre-college. It's meant to prepare them with music. Some of the music we're playing today, you can see college groups playing it, professional ensembles playing it, including the Mozart Symphony No. 25 that we're doing at the end of our set today of this group. So that is meant to get them ready for that next level, if they're going to go on and want to keep playing after high school. So. Good. So everybody, there's still some more coming out. Good. I forgot to say one thing. This is the piece in this set that has some sound effects in it. At the very end of the piece, you're going to hear the violins doing something called false harmonics, and it creates this sound effect where you hear the notes about 2 octaves higher than their normal range. And you'll know it when you get there. It's I don't need to demonstrate it now. You'll recognize it. But they're playing. It's super high notes that come out for that part. It's supposed to sound like almost like whistling. How does it sound like a whistle? So. Yeah, you thought that was long, about 10 minutes worth of music. But again, all 6 of those concertos are probably fits on I have a 2 CD set with the whole thing, with all the original stuff. So yeah, a little shorter version of it. Good. Our next group is coming in. This is full orchestra, another group that's very dedicated, working really hard. These are band students that join us. A lot of the great repertoire for orchestra includes winds, brass, percussion, all that fun stuff. And this particular piece, Mozart's 25th Symphony, I know I mentioned briefly in the program, Mozart was 17 when he wrote this. How many of you up here are 17 years old? How many of you are 18? Yeah, so about the age of some of the students up here. Now, Mozart had a dad who was a musician's father, and he was taken around, showing him all the kings and queens of Europe and stuff. So he had written 24 symphonies before this, but this is probably his most famous of his early symphonies. And if you've ever seen the movie Amadeus, which came out in 1987, so if that dates you a little bit. Okay, yeah. It's a movie that I've seen several times, and it's about Mozart's life. And this is how they start the movie. This is the very first thing that you hear in that movie. And so it has a very sort of sinister Halloween feel to it. So. Quick shout out to the band before they leave the stage too. I don't know if you heard, but our marching band just competed in a competition last Saturday and took first in state. So the kids, if they haven't had a chance to hear them yet, they're going to play for the school tomorrow morning at 7:30. Anybody's welcome to come watch if you want to come back at 7:30 in the morning and listen to them play in the gym. So they're going to do an assembly to honor them and get a chance to see them. I know I got a chance to go see them a couple weeks ago at one of their shows. Amazing show. And Mr. Palmer does the writing of it. The band teacher here does the writing of the show. Granted, they're not his tunes, like he did some Taylor Swift and a few other famous songs in there. But okay, good. We have one more piece, so we have Haunted Carousel. So come on up. They're going to be getting into places here. It's a big group. We're going to do a big combined piece at the end here. One of the benefits of doing combined music is that I'm having the upperclassmen sit with the freshmen and share a stand with them and get to play next to people. I know my own daughter got to do that with the Minnesota Orchestra when she was in high school. They had she was in a youth symphony program, and she was an all-state, and she got to sit next to like right next to a Minnesota Orchestra member and play with them. And the things you learn just playing with people that are older and more experienced than you, I think it can be a really good learning experience, even from just one rehearsal. So I'm hoping that, again, building those connections as well as helping to mentor each other in and make us all stronger musicians. It doesn't all rely on me. It relies on all of these students to help mentor each other. We've got other mentorships going on throughout the orchestra program that I don't want to get into all of them because there's a ton of them going on. But I think that's the key to a strong program is what the students do to help each other to grow, not just what I can do when I can offer them. I'm just one person. So. They got a ways to go here. Just a couple other notes too. When we get to after this last piece, we're going to take some yearbook pictures. So I know, and it shouldn't take very long, 5 to 10 minutes at tops. One of the things I'll ask you to do is this audience will ask to get behind row K, so we don't get in the audience in the pictures. And you're welcome to wait in the lobby or wait in the back, if you want to talk. And then the students will come in, and they've been told like the order they're going to go in. It's going to go from like oldest to youngest, and except for the chamber orchestra is going to be at the very end. We'll do that because it's a smallest group. So, okay. When I forgot to put in the program, Ahmed Alquani is playing the piano on this one. He's one of the 9th grade violinists, and he also plays piano. So he's been going to play piano on this one with the group. thank you so much for being a great audience tonight. I want to also thank our ushers that helped out and Marissa Augustin up in the booth for their excellent job. The things that you don't see, right? That you don't know, the good stuff that's going on behind the scenes, like the Wizard and the Oz. Okay, so great, thank you. We'll do some, like I said, some quick pictures. It'll probably take about 5-10 minutes, and then as soon as the kids are done with their group picture, they can go. So we'll start with Concert Orchestra first on stage. If you can take the stands and put them off stage, all the stands, and then we'll do that, and then we can take our picture. Is Stephanie Larson? There you go. Okay.